Hey, what's going on, guys? Frank Rock, House of Orange Sports Channel coming at you. Tennessee takes care of business tonight on a day where we have seen so many things happen. This is one of the best sports days of the year. The NCAA baseball tournament is just second to none. I know we get into bowl season, we get into March Madness, we get into all of it, but to me, this day in particular is that day you can see like just more craziness, more who knows what will happen on this day. And, we think back a few years to Wright State coming into Knoxville, and then I got to answer that question here in a minute, Jim. But Wright State coming into Knoxville, Chad Dallas starting. Wright State lit him up. They got to the pin. It coming into the end. Drew Gilbert hits off that. Arguably, maybe the coolest, greatest moment in Tennessee baseball history with that grand slam that he had to go on. North Carolina had that moment tonight. They got down to Long Island 8-5, went into the ninth inning. They got it back to 8-7, and then North Carolina hits a grand slam to win 11-8. Just what a day! What a sport! Holy shit! I can't stress it enough. I love baseball. I love college baseball. It's my thing. Oh my gosh! I mean, you look at Tennessee's regional. You got Tennessee moves on tonight. They're playing. You had Indiana, Southern Miss. Indiana moves on. You look at their other side in terms of the super regional, the Greenville region, and everybody's picking Wake Forest to move on. I've said, based on Trey Yesavage being healthy, I pick East Carolina to move on. What do you think happens today? Of course, the unconventional method of Evansville beats East Carolina, VCU beats Wake Forest. Tomorrow we have Trey Yesavage versus Chase Burns in an elimination game on the second day of the postseason. Oh my gosh, it is incredible. And I'm just going to make a major prediction. We're not going to say Wake Forest. Wake Forest is going home tomorrow. Wake Forest will be done tomorrow. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. You've heard it here first. So we will not see Wake Forest. East Carolina may come back through. But what a weekend. What a day. Tennessee, let's get into it tonight. 23 of you watching. Make sure you like, you share. If you have not already, man, we're right on the border of 1,200 subscribers. One away. We're one away. If you're one of those who you listen constantly, you like the content, hit that subscribe button. Down that right-hand corner, if you're listening to videos, that's super thanks. If you're listening to this as well, if you like what's going on, super chats are available. Super chats do go back into the channel. They are used to progress the channel, to provide more content as well for the channel. That may not make much sense as to what we're saying, but in terms of baseball, as I, try to be the best baseball channel out there, it helps to bring the best baseball in terms of, moving forward, in terms of recruiting, in terms of those type things. So, always appreciative of your generosity on the channel. But let's get into it tonight. So Tennessee takes care of business in this game 9-3. It was one of those games that looked like, I'm going to give hats off to Tony Vitello tonight. Tony Vitello noticed something easy, early, often. Chris Stamos, first guy of the game, he hangs one. The guy hits it off the scoreboard. the second guy puts it down the third base line. Stamos gets the out. He gets to, 2 strikes on the 4-hitter. Tony pulls him. I have no problem with it. I loved it because I was in my text with some buddies of mine. I'm like, man, Stamos is hanging everything. Everything's right down the middle. And this is not the team to hang it against. Tony, I think Vitello and Frank Anderson noticed this, and they come and got him out of it. I mean, I don't think Stamos was happy about it, but who cares? At this point, if you're hanging them, you do not risk it. You do not hang it against a team who can hit as good as Northern Kentucky. Not only can they hit, they can run the bases as well. So I thought it was the right move. I didn't think Stamos had his best stuff tonight. And, we had already seen the power. We had already seen the running. They went to A.J. Causey. A.J. Causey was lights out tonight. He was absolutely lights out. He did what he has done all season. And what a pickup, man. What a pickup. What an addition to this staff. Once again, they manage their pitching to perfection tonight. They manage their pitching to perfection. In Hoover last week, they did it again tonight. There's no doubt about that. Let me get into some of the comments. Here we got Anderson Hutzel, 9-3 Tennessee final. Tennessee moves on tomorrow. They will play Indiana tomorrow, not Southern Miss. Everybody assumed it would be Southern Miss. No, it's Indiana. I picked it Southern Miss would win tonight, yet Indiana would work their way back around. It could happen the opposite, but coming in, I talked about it, I previewed it. If you want the best baseball coverage there is for Tennessee baseball, and I've actually talked to some people that's pretty knowledgeable about Tennessee baseball, not former players or nothing. You don't have to be a former player of any sport to know baseball. I hate that term, no baseball, on it. But your greatest managers in history were not your greatest players. All right? I'm not going to sit here and tell you I know baseball, but I'll roll with what I researched. I will say that with it. But talking with some guys that I'm going to get on with me here at some point when the time is right for it. Once that happens, this channel's second to none. No, I'm not able. I've not progressed enough to get, insiders and all this stuff on here, but we're getting there. We're getting there. But as far as hosts of the channel, yeah, I'm second to none in terms of baseball. There is no other YouTube channel in terms, or a podcast, whatever, with Tennessee baseball. There's none that's ahead of me in terms of Tennessee baseball. It is what it is. That's a fact. That's not an opinion. That is a fact. Some of these 24/7s, VolQuest, the only thing they have on me is insider knowledge. Other than that, yeah, they're taking a back seat. But 9-3 Tennessee final. Yep, what an awesome day for college baseball. This is the you can't beat it. You cannot beat it. Let's see what else we got here. SEC goes 9-2 for the day. Let me see who got beat today. South Carolina was on the ropes. Cole Messina, my gosh, what are you doing pitching to Cole Messina with 2 outs in the 9th inning? I don't get it. I don't get these programs and what they're doing. Cole Messina and Ethan Petrie, they're your 2 guys for South Carolina you don't want to mess with. Yet you throw Cole Messina a pitch right down the middle, you get what you get when you go that route. Let's see what we got in terms of SEC. Vanderbilt. Oh, the almighty Vanderbilt. Oh, my gosh. I've heard it all week about how Vanderbilt's back. Vanderbilt Vanderbilt had a heyday on midweek staffs in Hoover. Vanderbilt's not that good. They're not that good. They may win tomorrow. They're not going to make it past Sunday. Vanderbilt's not that good. I think I kind of called this one earlier in the week on the live show on Monday night. Coastal Carolina, Vandy. Vandy's not that good. They're really not. They beat Tennessee in their midweek staff. Other than that, Vandy's, they are what they are. Vandy went down today. Let's see. LSU pulled it out against Wofford. Good game. Kentucky won 10-8. Georgia won 8-7. A&M 8-0. South Carolina 8-7. Arkansas 17-9. Florida won 5-2. Alabama got beat by Central Florida 8-7. I had not seen that final, but I was wondering if that was not the one. Mississippi State won in 10 innings, 5-2 over St. John's. Looks like that's about it. And I'm not one. I'm going to be honest. I'm not an SEC guy. If the SEC goes 1-10 for the day, I'm cool with it, as long as Tennessee is the one. Other than that, I don't care. I just don't care. VCU beat Wake. Clemson is up right now, actually. So it looks like that Greenville Regional is the big upset-minded. I'm still curious to see what happens. My game of the day I had circled was Arizona versus Grand Canyon. If any of you remember last year when Tennessee went out to Arizona, played that beginning of your tournament, that Grand Canyon crowd was insane. When I saw that bracket with Arizona, that Tucson Regional, oh my gosh, it looks awesome. Looks awesome out there, actually. Anderson Hustle, hit like and subscribe, please. Yes, absolutely. Got the job done today. Stay hot tomorrow. Greg German, 1 down. Heck yeah, Tennessee moves on. Indy, so Tennessee goes on tomorrow with basically their main guy. You got Drew Bean going tomorrow with your chance to move on to that regional final tomorrow. Hey, what's the name of the Billy Amick walk-ups? Billy Squire the Stroke. The Stroke. If you ever watched, Billy Madison, when he pulls up to, as he's going through his progression of school, Billy Madison, Adam Sandler, that's an Adam Sandler movie, pulls up to high school. He's sitting on his car with his jean jacket and his collar popped, and he's playing The Stroke right there. So that is Billy Amick, The Stroke. And I just wonder out there, how many of you guys who were not at the game when Billy Amick comes up, you're sitting there just going, you're doing the clap. I'm sure there's some of you out here doing it. If you're not, you're lying about it. There's definitely some of you doing it. Let's see what we got here. Baseball gods might be smiling. UT may not see Southern Miss or wait. It is very, very possible. And that is pretty funny because I don't know that UT sees Southern Miss. I'm picking Wake to get put out tomorrow. Yes, Savage versus Burns is an insane elimination game. As much as everybody talks about Burns, Yes Savage has got an ERA of like around 2. Yeah, he's if his stamina and stuff, because he was in the hospital last week for a collapsed lung. Everything I've read is that Yes Savage will be good tonight. So East Carolina did not throw their main guy tonight, and they paid for it. Wake Forest kind of went according to plan. Burns, for the most part this year, has been their second guy on the weekend. It may come back to burn them. I'm going with East Carolina tomorrow. At home, Yes Savage is a stud. I mean, Burns is too. Don't get me wrong. But I'm going with Wake Forest. and Chase Burns are going home tomorrow. Personally, me talking, yeah, I won't wait for us to get to Knoxville next weekend. I want that. Let's say we go Friday, Saturday, Sunday. I want that Saturday matchup of Chase Burns versus Drew Beam, especially if UT is up 1-0 in that series. Send Chase Burns home. And I have no problem with it. I honestly have no hate towards him. I really don't. You guys have listened to me, have heard my opinions on him. I have nothing but respect for him. But, mock draft this week, ESPN.com. I had Chase Burns going number 2 to the Cincinnati Reds. If you're going to win it all, you're going to have to go against the best. I want to see us go against Chase Burns. I don't think it'll happen. I think they're gone tomorrow. I really do. Indiana won decisively. How do you see the matchup? Pitching, Drew Beam versus Indiana. I think Tennessee rolls tomorrow. I think that's where it comes down to. The one thing that stood out to me was Indiana, pretty good offense, Southern Miss. Both of them had offenses who hits 292 for the season. Tennessee's much better offensively, but then it comes to pitching. Tennessee has a much better pitching staff. You've got your staff ace going tomorrow. I think Tennessee rolls. I think they roll. I think this is a region where Tennessee sweeps it, and I don't think there's going to be a doubt about it. Indiana's definitely a decent team. Tennessee's better, no doubt. Oh, I like this. High Point put Vandy out tomorrow. I would not be surprised on that one. I would absolutely not be surprised. I don't think Vandy's that good. I saw a video over the weekend when South Carolina baseball. South Carolina was, of course, announced for the Raleigh Regional. NC State, they were excited. But then Vanderbilt was announced for the Clemson Regional, and they were cheering and hooting and hollering like Clemson just got dealt what they didn't want. Vanderbilt's not that good. I'm just telling you, Vanderbilt is not that good. They're not your pre-2020 Vanderbilt. I mean, if they would have gotten sent to Knoxville, which I know would not have happened, it would have been great. It would have been the least of my worries. Vanderbilt, I'm with you, Greg. I think Vanderbilt's heading to the house tomorrow, and it's going to be glorious to see. Let's see. Stamos now available Sunday if needed. I think Stamos is available pretty much at any point because he didn't throw, but let's see here. What did he throw? I've got it right here. He threw 16 pitches. Now, he's good to go tomorrow if needed. Causey is done for the weekend. He threw 111 tonight. 6 2/3, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, 9 strikeouts. What an outing. What an outing. This guy, man, what an unsung hero, this baseball team. He had the back-to-back outings versus Georgia and Auburn where he got lit up for about 9 runs. Other than that, A.J. Causey has been dominant this year. He has been absolutely dominant this year. That ERA he has is it's inflated. He's been much better than that, no doubt. Let's see what else we got. Oh, yeah, as good as SEC football is, SEC is always known for football. It's twice as good in baseball. I'm telling you, it is twice as good in baseball. This is one I want to touch upon. I had this point earlier on. Can't run if you're getting picked at first. I've seen this on message boards and things about Tennessee baseball and their philosophies and what they go upon. This is a great basically topic right here. As Tennessee picked more tonight, had at least a couple picks. I've seen the philosophy, the message board know-it-alls going on about Well, Frank Anderson, he doesn't care about the runners. He's just worried about getting out. That's the biggest load of bullshit that's out there. If you watch Tennessee baseball, their pick moves are second to absolutely none. They're quick, they're precise, they're on time. This team practices. What that tells me, all right? Here, I say this a lot. I hate to say, no baseball type guy. I won't say that. Here's what I will say, though. Having some baseball knowledge, you can look at a team and tell what they practice. This Tennessee baseball team is, and if you're familiar with baseball, you're going to know the term PFP. This Tennessee baseball team is very good, and it's very obvious how they practice PFPs, pitchers fielding practice. It's not only fielding it off the bat, they practice their pickoffs a lot as well. They're precise, they're quick, they're on time. Yeah, Frank Anderson has every aspect of this covered. If you're reading a message board and you see some of these people say, oh, well, they're not that worried about the runners, you're going to know somebody that's full of shit and don't know what they're talking about on that. All right. They are very detailed and in depth of what they do with this staff. This pitching staff, in terms of being a better baseball player, knowing your position, you have to look at a lot of things. I mean, something I would do at times when I was, coaching, obviously at a younger age, but especially I'm developing wins and losses. There were times I got bothered by wins and losses and I regret it. But the times where I'm looking to teach, if I took guys who were younger and pitchers, I let them call the pitches. I kind of guide them, let them call it to kind of see it, what you're doing, where you're going. And that enables you to see, like pickoffs, it enables you to see team stealing and such. You have to be a student of the game with it. Frank Anderson has these pitchers knowing their pickoff moves. He has them with PFPs. Their catchers are on point. This staff, man, this program, never doubt an aspect of it. And are there times I question fundamentals as far as base running and things? Sure, absolutely. Pitching, nah. They got it figured out. What Frank Anderson and his staff done or has done this year, second to none in college baseball. Phenomenal. LSU game was crazy. Had to pull out one out of their butts in the last minute. I said it coming in that regional. There were people, I commented on X or Twitter. Some of them were asking the toughest regional, and I pinpointed Chapel Hill Regional. North Carolina, I mean, you look what they had to do tonight to beat Long Island. LSU, who is coming in playing some of their best baseball of the season. Wofford is a juggernaut on offense. The fact that LSU held them to 3 today is pretty good. That was a brutal regional. The Tucson Regional, Arizona, brutal. You cannot sit here and tell me that this committee seeds teams 1 through 64. I don't think Northern Kentucky was the 64th best team in the field. They were better than that. There were other teams who were top seeds in their regional who got much better draws than what Tennessee did. It's all a sham. It's all a show. I mean, you look at Tennessee, their other half of the super regional. It's not by design. I mean, it's totally by design that Wake Forest is on that other side. It's not by ranking. If they're truly want to determine the true rankings of these brackets for baseball, for basketball, and so on, it would not be hard to do. It's always going to be skewed. It's always going to be what it is. Wake Forest was in the opposite of Tennessee by design. It's not an accident. Let's see what else. I'm a little behind on these. JL says, go Vols. That's why y'all have us watching this late night, because you're the man. Thank you, Kyle. Kyle Beach is the man. Kyle is always on it. I could put a video out about whatever, man, and Kyle Beach is on here commenting. Thank you, Kyle. You're the man. You are the man. Appreciate all your support on here. Bama and Vandy lost that. Devin Arnold, fellow upstate guy. What's up, man? Go Vols. How about this regional? How about Evansville and VCU with Wake? I still find it insane. So if you're watching college baseball tomorrow, if you just started up your ESPN Plus subscription, your game tomorrow around noontime, East Carolina, Wake Forest, Trey Savage, who has an ERA of around like 2 for East Carolina. He was the pitcher of the year in that conference, versus Chase Burns. That environment, that whole thing is going to be nuts. It is going to be nuts. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know if I'm going to be out running around, but if I'm here, oh my gosh, I'm going to be tuning in. That's going to be the game of all games tomorrow. The plan was that would be your game to see who gets to the regional final. No, it's an elimination game. It's going to be awesome. It is going to be awesome. UCF beat Bama. Could handle that sidearm from AJ. AJ Causey was lights out today. Let's get into some stats here, man. I'll get back to the comments here. I got 66 of you in here. I appreciate you being in here. Appreciate you tuning in. I hope at some point we can get this thing into triple digits. It's still building a little bit. I don't think everybody knows where the best baseball channel is yet. But if it's your first time, hopefully this is not your last time either. So let's get into baseball stats today. Christian Moore, 2 for 5, a double. Had 1 K, 2 left on base. Blake Burke, 0 for 3, but he scored 2 runs. He had 2 walks. The stroke was the word. Billy Amick, 1 for 3, 3 runs scored, 3 RBIs, 1 home run, 1 walk, 1 hit by pitch. Dylan Dreiling, 3 for 5, had a home run, a double, 2 RBIs, run scored. Hunter Ensley, 1 home run, 1 walk, 1 run scored, 1 hit, 1 RBI, 1 for 4. Kavar Steers, 1 for 2, 2 walks. Tennessee had 9 Ks tonight, and that's about the norm. Dean Curley, 0 for 2. He had an RBI. He got a run in. He had a sac fly. Big time at bat for him. Tony did pinch it. Dalton Bargo for him, 0 for 1 with a strikeout. Antigua come in the last couple innings defensively. Reese Chapman, 1 for 4, 2 strikeouts. Cal Stark, 0 for 3, a walk and a K tonight. Pretty much the norm. Cal Stark's average, 214 for the year. It's back about where it was a year ago. So we're starting to see, earlier in the year, we started seeing a Cal Stark who had turned the corner, who was hitting better. At this point, though, he's back to where he was last year. Pitching stats, Stamos, 1/3 of an inning, 2 hits, 1 run. He faced 3 batters. I'm going to commend Tony Vitello for picking up on this early. He saw what was going on. Stamos was grooving it. He was absolutely grooving it. The first guy hit one off the scoreboard. The second guy hits it down the third baseline. If he'd let it go much further, who knows what would have happened at that point. I feel like Tennessee was getting themselves into a zone of it could potentially be bad. AJ Causey comes in with 2 strikes. He strikes out their 3, I think their 4-hitter, if I'm not mistaken. And then, he comes in and gets the next guy as well. Great move. Phenomenal move by Vitello. And, Tennessee, it took them a couple innings, they got on the board, and then once they did, once Amick hits his 3-run home run, they rolled from there. Let's say don't really care what SEC teams win as long as Tennessee does. Clemson did. Yeah, a lot of close games today. Here we go. Guilty. Here we go. Absolutely clapping. Oh, yeah. It's happening here. I don't know how many times this year I've done it. And my wife has looked at me and rolled my eyes about it. A buddy of mine tonight, I texted, I was like, tell me you're clapping. He said he was in a restaurant earlier in the week. Said he scared a woman and said his wife was not happy with him doing it as well. But that's what we do. It's what we do right there. This is still one. Somebody asked me today on one of the videos what happened there. I still do not have the answer. My thought on this is two things. Number one, when he got sent to the bullpen, he was gone. And I've read other places where Burns contemplated leaving after his freshman year. And I don't know. I think he has a beef. I'll be honest. I'm a Tennessee guy through and through. I'm not, I'm not just to a player. My loyalty is not to a player. I look at Chase Burns' 2 years, and I look at a guy who I think had a legit beef, because he got pulled from his spot where he was excellent his freshman year. And then last year, he was not good, but he was not the only one. But I don't have the answer for that one. Trying to work through. I'm a little tired right now. I'm not going to lie about it. Here we go. Jim Pan. He's doing the clap. He says the stroke's the word. Here we go. My 5 and 2-year-olds do the clap for Billy. He and Simo are their favorite. I love it. I mean, it's what a cool thing. It's not. I will say this. It's not an original thing. I saw this a few years ago when I was still living in Tennessee. I was coaching down in not at Cherokee, but feeding into Cherokee. Cherokee was playing Science Hill. I went up to watch some of the guys, which I had taught at Cherokee, feeding into Cherokee. Science Hill had a guy coming to bat to the stroke. This was 2018, I think it was, maybe 2019. And the Science Hill guys were doing the whole thing. So it's definitely not an original, but it's still pretty cool. It is pretty cool, especially when you see all the players, the crowd, all that going on. The thing about this is an interesting. Burns is not, for the most part, been their main night guy throughout the season. I've seen it once or twice, but for the most part, he has been their second day of the weekend guy. So, it's East Carolina and Wake Forest both might have paid for not going with their main guys tonight. It may definitely burn Wake. I'm predicting Wake to go out tomorrow. I am predicting them to go out tomorrow. I may be wrong when I come on here tomorrow night, but I'm predicting that Wake Forest will be heading back to Winston-Salem tomorrow. AJ Causey was lights out tonight. He looked really good getting into that pitching tonight. Causey went 6 2/3, 111 pitches. I think I heard him say it was his most of the season. He was excellent. He has been phenomenal this year. Inslee and Billy stay hot. I mean, Billy starts swinging a little bit better bat at the end of the weekend. Inslee, since going to that 5-hole, it doesn't always show in terms of average, but just in terms of him getting on base, him making things happen. Inslee's playing lights out right now. I saw it speculated a couple weeks ago. I've said this again. I'm adamant on this one. I saw McKee 24/7. Not going to say much more than that about him. Don't agree with a lot of what he says. He's he has inside stuff. So he's good on that part of it. As far as his baseball knowledge, meh. But he said, I expect Inslee to be center fielder next year. I don't. Hunter Inslee will get drafted. He's playing himself into getting drafted right now. I've said it numerous times on here. He has the option to come back next year. You get drafted, you have flexibility in terms of your signing bonus. Okay? Teams will try to sign you for an amount. They have an allotment. All right. If you have flexibility, you can come back to school and you can tell them, hey, you're out of a draft pick. If you're a guy who's out of eligibility and you get drafted, you're pretty much at the mercy of that team that drafts you. But in terms of Hunter Inslee, it happened last year with Jared Dickey. He went 10th round, but he had flexibility with his signing bonus. He made it count. Hunter Inslee, I'm not saying he can do what Jared Dickey did, but I think he'll be in that, we'll just say in that 10 to 20 round range. Hunter Inslee will get drafted. If I'm wrong on it. I think based on his defense, based on where he's come with his bat, I expect this to be the last year for Hunter Inslee in Orange. Not saying I want that or anything like that, but if you get drafted top 20 at this point, especially if you have flexibility, you got to go for it. It is what it is. Second pitcher at Northern Kentucky brought the two. I was on text. We were making comments about that guy. That dude could not have been about 150 pounds soaking wet, but hey, he did his thing, man. He did his thing. My pinky and his legs were about the same size, but hats off to the dude for sure. Clemson's not all that. They're not. That regional's pretty weak. I could easily see Coastal Carolina coming out of that one. People said Coastal couldn't have been in. Coastal's a pretty good team. Vanderbilt overrated coming in. Clemson. I mean, one of Clemson's best players out for the year and stuff. I could see Clemson winning the regional, but I don't think they're all that. Oh, this is a no-doubter. SEC best conference easily in baseball. It has been for years. SEC, as good as it is in football, it's double as good in baseball. It's insane. Got 63 you guys in here right now. Make sure you like, you share, you subscribe on here if you have not already. Of course, we're always appreciative of super chats, super thanks as well on here. They're 50. Yeah, we're about 70 now. Everybody take the effort to hit the thumbs up. Thank you, Anderson. Appreciate that. The BaseVols station, no doubts. And that's with, where it could be better. There's no doubt. Helps having a left-handed pitcher out there looking first. Yeah, the key with that is you got to have a good move. The key thing with that pickoff move is you don't you don't give yourself to home. Once that that right knee goes home, if you try to pick, it's a balk. And I know that teams practice that balk move where they can try to get away with a little bit on it. But you got to be careful. I don't know how much teams get away with it in college. I know in high school we practiced it, trying to get a little bit away with it. But, I mean, you can't just be obvious with it either. Chicks dig the pickoff. Absolutely. Northern Kentucky, more like 54th or 3rd. They were definitely not the 64th team, and that's my problem with all this ranking. It's there's no logic, there's no rhyme, there's no reason. That's why there's so much discrepancy each year. A team like I still find it hard to believe that we're using a 3 to 4 day tournament to determine in these schools who gets in versus the whole season. That's what happened with Northern Kentucky getting in over Wright State, who actually won the conference regular season. That's got to get fixed at some point. I just don't like that 3 to 4 days determines a team who gets in versus an entire season in terms of, like Horizon, Southern Conference, something like that. It just does not seem right to me. The NCAA loves us. I'm sure they do. What's up, Tim? Take care, India. Yep, Indiana tomorrow. Appreciate this. Keep sharing the channel. Give them the word out if they don't know now. Best channel for Bay. It is. It is. And it's just getting started. This channel is not even scratched the surface. There's no doubt. Jim Pan, come on, everybody. And Bill, Jim Pan's clapping right now. The stroke for Billy Amick. I have no doubt about that. Tell everyone something. Oh, Indy, aka Frank Rock, knows his baseball. Used to watch him. He was on another channel. Now he knows, and he knows the channel I'm talking about. Yep, Indy done great. Eric Jones, man, I've been around for years. Thank you, as always, for your support. Always a very good supporter. I appreciate all that. Yes, Causey pitch lights out tonight for sure. Absolutely. Kyle Beach, his hands are still sore from clapping, probably to the stroke when Billy Amick come up to bat. Yes. Yep. Absolutely. Eric Jones. I hadn't seen you here. Yes, that was absolutely Eric Jones asked about Chase Burns. And man, I wish I had the answers for all that. That's one to this day. I just don't have the answers for all. I can speculate. My speculation is that once Burns was moved to the bullpen, he was out. But at the same time, this is why I don't have any issues with Chase Burns. He had to do what he had to do. What I looked at was that end of the year when they got to the regional at Clemson, when they got to the Southern Miss Super Regional, 2 times he come in and fired that Monday night when he, people were getting all up in arms because he was celebrating, he was fired up. This dude was still bought in. They got into Omaha. They lost to LSU. They played Stanford. Chase Burns comes in. He bails them out of that Stanford game. Chase Burns was still all in. I just can't hate on the guy. I just can't. And I know a lot of people are that he quit on Tennessee and whatnot, but he didn't in season. All right. He did not. I don't know all the conversations that happened with him, Tony Vitello, Frank Anderson. I've seen the speculation on handlers. There's always that out there. I've seen it from these supposedly guys in the know going on about handlers and stuff. That's why I say I go where I go. Chase Burns, I said it earlier on. If I had to pick one guy to put back on this team, and I'm talking about anybody, former Vol, that would have been my guy. I would have taken him over Hochaver, Crochet, and I don't say that lightly. R.A. Dickey, that was R.A. Dickey prior to Tommy John surgery. A lot of people probably remember R.A. Dickey as a knuckleballer. He was not always a knuckleballer. He was the man when he was at Tennessee. He was the man. Todd Helton, obviously, you'd be crazy not to take Todd Helton, but the thing is, you've got a first baseman. You got guys that can close it. If Todd Helton were that 7 to 8 inning starter, I'm not denying he's the greatest baseball player in Tennessee baseball history. But on this team, would he fit what they needed? That's I don't know. I go back though, like Eric asked, he asked me in the chats, I don't know why Burns left. It still seems crazy to me that it came to that just all the way around. And there may be some of you that have a little more insider knowledge on that than I do. But There's never going to be a time. If Tennessee plays Wake Forest next weekend, yes, I'm against Chase Burns. Other than that, I'm not. I'm just not. He gave his all for 2 years up until the end. And I appreciate him for that. Absolutely. The jersey is absolutely BA, Frank. I think I had run across this. I'm interested. Burns transferred to senior high school because he only wanted to pitch. Original school wanted him to play shortstop. He goes where he gets what he wants. Sounds pretty good. Yep, I'm kind of with you on that one, Greg. That's kind of what I thought it was all along too. I still just cannot make sense of the whole thing why he left Knoxville. But like you said, business decision for him. I mean, mock draft this week just had him at number 2 overall. I don't know that you can fault him when it's all said and done. If that's the case, didn't get what he wanted at Tennessee. Yeah, I'd love to know what the conversation. I would have loved to have been a fly on the wall to know what happened. And there was some speculation late in the fall that he may come back, but then he went to Wake Forest. And, Wake's producing a lot of first-round picks pitching-wise, but I'll be honest, what I've seen, the Braves have drafted numerous ones, and I'm not seeing it out of them. I'm just not. They've not panned out. Yeah, I'm assuming this is what the left-handed move. If you bring that right foot behind the rubber, or if you bring it in front of the rubber, you are committed at that point. If you kind of keep it level, and that guy breaks, they're dead meat. And Kirby came close. He did. He absolutely came close, but he did not fully commit. Therefore, that guy was picked up. But you're absolutely right. If you commit basically one way or the other, it's a balk if you try to pick. I'm going to go with this one, true or false. It's an uneventful weekend for Vols. True. I'm going true as well. I think Tennessee's going to take care of business. I just think this regional stacked up where Tennessee's better. I thought Northern Kentucky was an interesting matchup. To me, what impressed me the most tonight was that Stamos, my key, and I texted with some buddies of mine, and I said my key was that Stamos needs to get out of the gate good. And we're good with that. He didn't, but Tony Vitello pulled him early. I love it. He had to do it. Stamos can get upset about it. I mean, it's easy for me to say sitting here talking about it, but he didn't have it. Him being an opener, if it's a Drew Beam, yeah, you can afford to let him work it out. An opener like a Stamos, no. If you say he doesn't have it, you make that change. Tony Vitello, and I'm sure Frank Anderson had some input, possibly even Elander. They communicate pretty well amongst the three of them. That was absolutely the right call. That turned that from potentially an eventful game at the end to an uneventful game. Yep, I'm agreeing on this. I'm saying the Vols roll. I've seen this, that Tyler Barron and Wesley Walker both asked to leave because they were basically running their mouths about NIL. What the Tyler Barron thing's sad to me because it seems to me like a guy who should have went NFL. I personally thought he was good enough to be drafted, and now he's bounced around so many times. I just think it's sad. Tyler Barron to Miami now, Wesley Walker to Michigan. Hunter Ensley fan club president. Yep, that's right here on the House of Orange Sports Channel. We're the Hunter Ensley fan club president. I do. I like Hunter Ensley, but you guys have been with me baseball season. I called it like it was earlier in the season when Ensley was hitting leadoff. He was hitting in 2 homes. I didn't think it was his spot. Right now, where he's playing, he is the no doubt center fielder. I have no problem with him in that 5 hole. Hats off to him, the progress he's made in the season. His average right now, it's 274. It's fluctuated between 250 and 290, depending on the night. But, yep. Ole Miss, Missouri, Auburn, only 3 didn't make it. That's crazy. And Ole Miss, Auburn, man, Auburn had some high expectations coming in the season. Did not match it. Ole Miss had them. Missouri, they're kind of stuck in neutral. Trey Lipscomb, man, that's a good one, but Trey Lipscomb was the man. I just don't. I mean, if I put Trey Lipscomb on this team, I'm putting Dean Curley on the bench, which honestly is a no-brainer. Trey Lipscomb over Dean Curley. That would be an interesting one, actually. Hard to tell what happened with Burns at Tennessee. I think it is what you said, but yeah, I mean, I just don't have a problem with him. I think this was it with Chase Burns. His ERA as a starter was like, what, over 5? That was his sophomore year. And, Dolander didn't have it. Beam didn't have it as much, but I think what it boiled down to it, they had the decision to make. And they might have looked at long term, because I know there are a lot of projections out there about Burns being a long-term reliever, major league-wise. But, that team, who can fault what they did last year? Their offense was not what it, typically is. And then their pitching, I don't know. Later in the year, I think you got to give Tony Vitello and Frank those guys credit. But, yeah, absolutely. Their Burns' performance got him moved to the bullpen. There's no doubt about it. He wouldn't have been moved to the bullpen if he was pitching like he is, say, for Wake Forest against ACC hitting this year. I noticed this as well. Stamos sitting on the bench looks like he was shocked that he got pulled. I noticed that when they come out to get him, he looked shocked, but he didn't have it. He was throwing it right down the middle. You cannot do that. And, there's a thing. I think there's a lot of people get confused on throwing strikes versus just grooving them right down the middle. That's what Stamos was doing tonight. I mean, if you saw the the first batter of the game, the dude hit it off the scoreboard. He threw it right down the middle to him. I don't know if he threw it. It looked to me like he threw it where Cal Stark was lining up. The announcers were saying he missed on it. To me, it looked like he threw right where Cal Stark was lining up. But, if you're grooving it, you're going to get hit against good teams. It just is what it is. I don't know why he's shocked when he was grooving it. Yeah, I think Tyler Barron's going to come back to regret not just going to the NFL this offseason. I didn't get that one. And, here's the bottom line at this point. Tyler Barron, if anybody calls him a VFL, they're wrong. He's not. Okay, he's bounced around to 3 schools this offseason, Ole Miss, then Louisville, then Miami. Nope, not at all. He's a former Vol. He's not a VFL, though. He can move along. Terrible decision. Whoever was in his ear did not have his best interest at mind, because you're playing for Rodney Garner, who is one of, if not the best defensive line coaches in all of college football, yet you're going to Ole Miss, Louisville, Miami. Give me a freaking break. Yeah, he's chasing money. He's chasing money. He did not care anything about NFL. He's chasing money now, opposed to later. Poor judgment, and that's what we're getting into with a lot of these guys with this NIL, is just poor, short-sighted judgment. You could have seen it with Chaz Lanier. He could have chased the BYU money. He could have chased whatever bullshit Kentucky's feeding him. But he used common sense. He looked at Tennessee, and a roster was tailor-made for him. A coach in Rick Barnes, who closed it out, told him how they could make it better for him. And all they had to use was Dalton Connect for it. I had Kentucky fans come on here left and right tell me all this crap about Mark Pope. They don't even know what Mark Pope's system is. They could tell. Only thing they could tell you is Mark Pope played for Kentucky. Most of them could not tell you left from right as far as Mark Pope goes. They're hoping. Just the same as we hoped with Conzo Martin, with Derek Dooley, with Donnie Tyndall, with Butch Jones, all these. Okay, that's all it was with it. Pros watching portal moves, and players will have to answer. Yeah, I think so. I think if the pros see a guy who's moving around every year, especially 3 times in the offseason, they're going to have a lot of questions, and that player's going to have to answer for. I think that's an excellent point. Leaving Curly, Billy DH, Trey at third, pitchers 1 game, top 14 lineup every game makes us. That's a pretty valid point. It's a pretty good point, because I'm probably going more of a starter, but I see this as well. I think that's a very valid point there as well, because we've had that DH. I mean, Chapman had a hit tonight, but he also had a couple strikeouts. So I like it. That's a pretty good point. Let's see. Looks like I have not seen this. Greg said, looks like ESPN Plus tomorrow. Jim Pan still clapping to the stroke. I'm thinking about doing it myself here in just a minute. Man, if I could pipe it in right here, I'll just pipe it in. We'd all clap together. Jim's shoulders are going to start getting tired here in a little bit. His hands may start getting sore, but hey, he's still bringing it. Hats off to you, Jim. Jeanette says ESPN 2 I get, but not ESPN Plus. ESPN Plus is extra. It's about $10 a month. I cannot stress it enough. If you're like, I understand if you're just trying to get 1 game, that may be a little bit. I guess the fanatic in me. I've purchased Flow Sport earlier in the year. We were on ESPNU and I couldn't get it, and I purchased something to get ESPNU. But I get, if you're wanting to watch numerous games in college tournament, ESPN Plus is phenomenal. It's worth the money for college baseball season. I'll probably cancel it once it's over, but once college baseball season starts, the coverage we get for college baseball and ESPN Plus is just second. It's phenomenal. It is great. Chaz Lanier on campus today. I saw that. Yep, he's ready to rock and roll. Barron went in the portal every offseason. Yeah, it was a matter of time. And I'll be glad when this COVID year stuff is gone. Like I saw with basketball, Hunter freaking Dickinson. I feel like he played at Michigan for 10 years. Now he's going on a transfer to Kansas. He's coming back again next year. I mean, for God's sake, can we get this guy out of college basketball? It's just all these COVID years. We have got to get this over with. It's insane. Let's see. YouTube had several ESPN Plus games for free. Interesting. There's Harmon JC. Big win tonight. Love to see it. And then Jeanette says most Tennessee games be the SEC or ESPN2 or ESPN. I would look out for SEC Network tomorrow night. But with 9 out of 11 teams advancing, I don't know how they'll choose to go about that because most of them are probably going to be evening games. So that's, who knows with that. But I would definitely be on the lookout if it is ESPN Plus. If you're a college baseball fan, it's definitely worth it. If they're SEC Network Plus, if you have an SEC Network login, you can go through ESPN app and get that as well. But I've definitely not seen that as of yet, which I haven't looked either. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap up. We're right at an hour and 2 minutes. So about 60 of us in here. We'll be live again tomorrow night. Hopefully, Drew Beam takes care of business. It'll be Drew Beam for Tennessee. Indiana's pitchers, when I looked at them, their pitching ERA was not, and I'll link it at the end here, the video talking about Indiana pitching. Their ERA is closer to 5. I think that plays into Tennessee's hands. I think Tennessee's in good hands to run through the rest of this bracket. Just with Beam tomorrow, Sechrist on Sunday, Sechrist, Snead, I think is the way they go with that. Aaron Combs is going to be ready to go at some point because tonight you only utilize Stamos, Causey, and Cannell. So pretty much everybody's good to go. And I like where Tennessee stands on that next weekend. We'll see where I'm at with my prediction tomorrow night. I'm predicting tomorrow night when I come on here, we're going to be talking about Wake Forest is gone. I'm going with East Carolina to upend Wake Forest, and Chase Burns' college career will be over tomorrow. With that note, hope to see you guys tomorrow night. Tennessee plays, I think, at 6 o'clock. I've seen. So we'll be live around 9:30 tomorrow night. I hope you guys have a great rest of the night, a great Saturday. Last but most certainly not least, go Vols.